Aha, I'm live. It's on the wrong page. Apologies. Okay, got another live. So this live, little short intro going for the High Hopes Hypnotherapy. The High Hopes Hypnotherapy Hub. And this is H4 through the looking glass of our extraordinary lives. So what does this mean? And why am I trying to get you essentially to join? Okay. So what kind of people are going to be joining this group? Right, either you're in my inner circle already, you might be a light worker, Reiki practitioner, energy healer, or into your spirituality. And we talk and we converse and we get involved with some bits and pieces at the moment. So you could be in that group with us. You could be that you're an old client or an existing client and you could be in that group with us. It could be that you've replied to an advert recently, or you're messaging me or following some of my posts and you're commenting and we're engaging, and you want to understand and actually try some hypnotherapy or the rapid transformational relaxation therapy, letting go with us. But you've always been a little bit hesitant to actually either pay for a one-on-one session or to do a program. For one reason or another, it might not have been the right time, or you didn't think it was for you, or the whole maybe letting go hypnotherapy thing is a little bit like, oh, I'm not sure what it is, and is it for me? And you have some fears around that. So let's iron out and get a few of the creases out. So what essentially is hypnotherapy? Well, hypnotherapy is a relaxed light trance that you let go of thought and then you're listening to something. So it means it's passive. So you're just relaxing and something is speaking to you, or you're being guided. So you would have heard of guided or guided meditations. It's similar to that, but the reason, because you're listening to someone else take you on a journey essentially, and you're just concentrating on their voice. Hypnotherapy is different to meditations because quite often you use breath work, but also we do a little bit of work to actually get you into your intellectual mind before the hypnotherapy. So it means that your subconscious and your conscious mind are concentrating on the same thing, and then you have direct access to reprogramming and putting some really juicy stuff in. So when your mind, you've got your primitive and your intellectual mind, and your primitive mind is always going to be looking for danger, negativity, and generally is going to be on heightened alert all the time, looking for negative stuff to protect you. Whereas your intellectual mind, your conscious, your thinking mind, which at the moment, this is you that interacts with the world and makes decisions. But a lot of the time, the subconscious just takes over for you, and that's why we have these automatic negative thoughts rather than automatic positive ones. Because when they're automatic positive thoughts coming, that's because your conscious mind has installed those beliefs into you. So when the two minds focus on the same thing, you have direct access to reprogramming your mind. So it's really, really a relaxation technique, essentially. So why this group? Well, because I've got quite a few different channels. I work with people in different capacities across those channels as well, and also have a couple of inner circles, either for digital entrepreneurship and network marketing, or from like a coaching and a more spiritual kind of group of people. A lot of the times these two communities can kind of cross over, and that's great. But for me to really be able to impact how I can help, or how I can bring people together in a safe way for them to speak freely, or to in a group setting kind of experience some of what we're doing individually, but get more people involved, so that actually sometimes when I could basically do a live session, and the hypnosis in that, the trance bit would be half an hour, and then do it 5 times during a day. Or if they're not having a transfer of energy and asking me to do it one-on-one, it's far better for me to have the 5 people on the same call to experience the same thing. And then at a later stage, if we want to do any of the one-on-one, or if there's a question that you want to ask or something you want to share that you don't want to, say you might have fears about sort of saying it in front of other people. I do this all the time. I have community calls that we jump on all the time, and sometimes people say, why don't you come out and talk about this or that? And I'm like, well, I don't know some of the people, so I don't want to share that. Whereas on other calls, whereas I know everyone that's in them, I'll be very, very open and honest about how I feel about things, current affairs, spirituality, and that is completely what this group is going to be all about. So when I say that through the looking glass of our extraordinary lives, when I go into deep meditations or into trance, into hypno, sometimes when I let go of thought, it's almost like you float. And what happens is when you let go of thought, you're of a higher, as I say, when I close my eyes, because it's almost like I'm channeling when I'm doing it. It's almost like you have, like you astral project, or you kind of levitate. You feel like your body's floating, and your body just goes light and airy. And your soul, then you can really connect and be like on a higher level of a higher state of consciousness. And some of that spiritual stuff really, really comes through. And so we can talk more about that stuff. And it's not for some people because of the labels or religions, or it just sounds a bit wishy-washy, and that's fine. But it might not be for you, but it totally is for everybody, because we all are energy beings. We're all alive. We've all come from somewhere. We're all going from somewhere. Whether you don't or do understand it, it's really, really nice to sometimes, and I really, really miss this element of my social kind of network. I don't do Reiki because of the COVID thing, and I'm not in England, but some of the people on my Reiki group I'm in contact with, and the spiritual chat that we have, I feel like I can be really, really open, more so than I can with, say, with my oldest friends, or like even my family members. I can't really, I don't open up as much as I should and could do sometimes about how I feel, the things that I resonate with, the things that I watch, the people that I'm in contact with. Like I've got energy healers, psychics, tarot card readers, Reiki healers, practitioners, NLP practitioners that are into the light work as well. Other people that are just very intuitive, or become awake or awoken spiritually just now with what's going on. And so this can really facilitate people going within, having that kind of support network. And also, some of my friends laugh at me, and I've had to deal with it in the past. It has bothered me. But I'm a bit more cool with it now, because I was open and honest, and I always try to share what I'm going through with people as an authenticity, but also as an authentic kind of an authentic way of being like, okay, not everyone has issues, everyone has stuff going on, and we all suffer in that way. No one kind of is perfect in the way they deal with stuff going on in their lives, because it's happening all the time, and it's new and fresh, and a lot of outside influences with energies and stuff going on at the moment. There's some funky stuff happening in the world, people. It really is. From me saying about my friends laughing at me, thinking that I'm like into conspiracy theories and stuff. Like, okay, yeah, I always had a quite. I was attuned to kind of thinking, questioning things, and if this is what everyone else is saying and doing, then I kind of want to be digging a little bit deeper and finding out what else it could be, or and there's stuff, and that's to do with my feelings and what really resonates with me on like a spiritual level. I used to like sort of laugh at the kids and say, I know you're lying. And they say, oh, how do you know I'm lying? I'm like, your lips moving. But I try to be funny and light and playful as well. But there is seriously some horrible, scary stuff going on in the world. And in my opinion, a lot of this surface level stuff that's going on with masks and lockdowns and COVID and vaccines and jobs and restrictions, in my opinion, I think it's all a smokescreen for other stuff that's being changed and needs to happen. That's just my opinion. I believe it. I truly believe it. I thought it before all this happened, and I'll continue to think it. Whether or not it comes out, I believe that. I think I think Donald Trump's going to win the American election. I think Donald Trump's actually, I don't mind the guy actually. I think that, I won't get into too much politics, but I think like him and Bob Johnson, yeah, okay, they're both a fucking pair of idiots, aren't they? Really, but they're ish pair of maybe honest fools. Maybe not Bojo, but I think Trump is actually for bringing down certain establishments, and I think that he's all for making hardworking people kind of, he's behind hardworking people and honest people. I don't think he's behind some movements, factions that kind of keep power to themselves. You could argue the fact that he's not one of those people, but I don't think the guy is evil. I think he's got the best intentions, and I think he's a straight talking kind of bit of a tit. But we'll see what happens. I think that he'll be in there. It would make no difference to me whether he is or not, to be honest, and I'll move on from a political bloody talk. But what he does stand for, I believe that there's things going on in the world which are being taken down. There's broken, corrupt systems which are kind of being taken down as we speak. And some of that stuff is mind-blowing. And that's the kind of stuff that I will be talking about. And some of my inner circle have got a lot of their own views, and they're of, I'm not just talking about having, a load of, can you imagine like a load of 16-year-olds sitting around smoking bongs or something, sort of talking about, yeah, man, and I think this and I think that. No, we're talking about fucking serious people that have got serious jobs and a real impact in the world that are helping people. A lot of us won't talk about this kind of stuff that much because it's not that freely to talk to a lot of people about it. And a lot of it's censored as well. I mean, you could say certain words in this video, and I might have said too much already, and they'll get taken down because of the content. There is stuff going on in the world, guys, and I think the biggest conspiracy theory of them all, and this is where I'll leave it, is that governments and media and pharmaceutical companies have got your best interests at heart. I think that there's a big problem, and it's all about to come down. It might take a couple of years, but I think with, certainly we're going to start seeing a bit more light. December, there's a massive shift happening within the cosmos. Anyone that knows about numerology and about energies and that kind of stuff, there's some really pinnacle stuff happening in this year of 2020. There's stuff hidden in codes and stuff. There's also been the telltale signs of certain things to do with energy shifts, and that's going to be coming to light in December as well. So around 21st of December to the 25th of December, there's like this, I feel the energy now, and I feel, I believe in all that stuff, and I feel it. And I know where there's light, there's dark. And so there's a lot of dark, there's a lot of evil going on in the world. And because of people with fears and being kept in and can't see their loved ones and people passing away. I mean, I think all that stuff was going to happen anyway. People dying every single day anyway. And it's catastrophic, the amount of numbers of people dying. And we've always just turned a blind eye to it. But now they're just sort of like shining the light and doctoring figures and saying, well, X amount of people, X amount of cases, and people are really kind of like wired into that stuff. You're thinking about and consuming it all the time. And that's dangerous. That is proper dangerous, because when we are in fear, I've been one of these people that I was like, I struggle as an entrepreneur and I struggle as my own boss, because in my jobs, I would always do what needed to be done out of fear of being told off, fear of failing. So now when it's just down to me to get off my arse and do stuff, I really struggle, because I'd almost be like worth getting a girlfriend that's going to be like my boss and just be telling me, go and do that. And I'll be like, okay. Do you know what I mean? And that's about employee and entrepreneur mindset and stuff. And it's stuff that I struggle with all the time, because it's so much easier, isn't it? Like to just be told what to do, and that's the way that we've all been programmed and brought up. Is because we're all just waiting to be told what to do, because the one control we do have is our own thoughts and our thinking, which is madness, really. That then that's where all the magic happens, in the present moment, in the here and now, when you're just in flow, connected to source, and you can just intuitively, instinctively go towards the things that are going to serve you best. But then when you're worried about what's going to happen in the future or worried about what's happened in the past, that's when it all starts to get all a bit fucked up, and there's no magic involved there. That's fear. It's fear-based. And then what happens when you're stuck in those fears, we're waiting for someone to come along and tell us what to do. And that's as simple as it is, really. So through the looking glass of our extraordinary lives, when I actually shut off my thoughts, and then you get that light floatiness, I feel like you're stepping through a mirror. But also, it's about through the looking glass, is also about what reality that we see around us is created by our thinking, and that thinking has been bastardized and monopolized and twisted and turned and made negative our whole lives by a system, by a corrupt Babylonian Luciferian system, in my opinion. Like money's neutral, but and money can be wonderful, right? But it's in a very corrupt system. So it's a very enslaved kind of system, our monetary system. But itself, it's neutral because it depending on how you use it, right? A bit like we all have light and dark in us, but what we act upon is what defines us. So as you can see, it's a little bit different the way I'm speaking in this one, because it's like I want to introduce or somehow give you an inkling to why we're going to do this, what are we doing it for, what other people are going to get out of it that you're not getting on these channels already. And it's straight talking this kind of stuff that we're going to get in there. Yeah, the actual hypno stuff and the coaching, the way that would work is the first kind of month that we would basically do, like if I was with a one-on-one with any clients, so we'd start with doing a video of an initial consultation, which explains about about our primitive negative minds, a bit anecdotally about why we suffer in the way we do, what we can do about it, the important bit, a bit about physiology, the chemistry in our body and minds, sleep is a massive one, and what's happening when we sleep. And then we can go into a bit of human optimization techniques to do with vibration, energy, and about starting to make some new habits like listening passively to an audio at night, which is going to help balance your brain waves, and it's going to start creating some nice relaxation. And from the first time people start listening to this or hearing it, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. I once wanted to say to someone, right, give me 200 quid, and within basically the first two lessons, I'll change your life, or you get your money back. And of course, making statements like that make people feel on a little bit more comforted that, okay, it's not a scam or it's this or that. And that's the big problem that I'm dealing with at the moment, is people's own limiting beliefs around, don't want to pay, what is it? That's why we get to know each other. So there's a bit more trust there of the value that can be had. Work with people that pay from £1,000 to £1,500 for 3-month sessions, not a problem. That is more the norm. In this current climate, people are kind of like fear-based, and they don't even want to let a fiver go out of their wallet, especially on the internet, because they think for some reason it's a scam. Yes, there are loads of scams and stuff. That's where you've got to do your homework and stuff. But something that's really, really going to serve you in a really, really good way, you've got to be doing more things like that, just the way I did. I spent 2.5, nearly 3 years doing different courses and in different communities. Before I got to the right places, I'd made lots of mistakes, and then luckily enough I've come through that. But even this time last year, this very day last year, I'd gone to Barcelona. I was doing a mastery weekend. We stayed in an Airbnb with 10 other people from different countries, different nationalities. Brilliant experience. Still friends with every single one of those people now. Still doing that online business as well. I'm a Magic distributor, so that's with the water, the Kangen water, with the healing that I do. I don't actually talk about that enough. Talk more about the mental health stuff and about what hypnotherapy can do for you, and about change in the way we think. And that's me giving that value. There's not enough people, from the people that I spend money on ads and then speak to people. I mean, recently I spent 220 quid on ads. And I had 220 messages. So this basically, I paid a pound £1 per person for them to message me. Essentially, that's how it works. And I'm in contact with those people, probably gotten about 50, 60 calls, which I had mentioned before, and done some work with some people, which was great. And then I got to me thinking, well, why didn't those other people message back? Where are those people at? And they're struggling, or they're having some sort of hardship, limiting beliefs, fears. And then how can I help them more? Because at first, it's quite funny. I'll message someone and they'll be like, what do you want? And I'll be like, what do I want? You message me from the ad. And they'll be like, oh, who are you? And I'm like, just click my name. It takes you to a profile. It'll take you back to the ad. Or they're, well, what is this? And I'm like, you clicked on an ad. You don't read the ad. So I know that human beings are funny, peculiar creatures, aren't we? And we're full of all these things of limiting beliefs, lazy spells, or just blondness sometimes. And sorry, I love a blonde. Nothing wrong with blondes. But, we all do these things. And that's what makes us wonderful and unique as well. I got to laugh or we cry, right? So by doing this group and by reaching out to people and saying like, how are you? And this is something that I think would be really, really good for you, because I can get on a call and say to someone, look, I don't expect you to say, right, I want a 3-month program, £1,000, bang. In an ideal world, that'd be brilliant. And I'd do that 10, 20 times every month. And then that would just roll on things through, and perfect. But in reality, and in the current times, that's not how I'm going to deliver the most value. So I wanted to create a group. I wanted to invite more people to it and actually say, look, I'm not going to do one-on-one, but I'm going to have up to 100 people on a call, and then everybody basically just puts in a little nugget. And then that also means you'll get value out of it. You're investing in it, and because you've actually put a nugget in it, you're actually going to want to get more than a nugget out of it. And I'm fine with you doing that. I mean, to be honest, if you put say a month ago when I did the ads, and it was £77 to start doing a month's program, which is essentially what this first program would be, without any live sessions. So then throw in 8 live sessions as well, the value of it's like £500 from what I was doing a month ago, and which people are actually doing now. So I actually then are like, make it fair and saying, oh, please come and join this group. I want you to be involved in this group. I'm still doing the one-on-one stuff with you. But can I roll some of that one-on-one stuff in to give value to the other people as well as doing it with you, as, a thank you, for helping me to get to this place. And that's brilliant. And then some of my coaches and mentor friends that we do our one-on-one private groups with as well. Some of that stuff we can roll into that H4 through the Looking Glass group, and even some of the calls we're going to get on. And we could be talking about some of this funky stuff. It could be something gets sent to a private group, and we'll have a look at that and be like, whoa, what was this? It might be one of these conspiracy videos or something, but something that resonates with us. That's something about the energy shifts at the moment, or about what's going on behind the scenes, and what might or might not be coming out recently or very soon. So there's a tremendous amount of value going to be in the group, and the live sessions as well will be fantastic. So I'm going to get off this call, but I'm super excited. The more people actually that are involved, and if I actually have people the other side, so I'm just not like staring at the camera and going, hello, how are you? And someone else is, and it might be 3 or 4 people in little boxes, when you see like here in little boxes, like on a Zoom call. That's more energy transfer, and I can shoot up some of those calls that we do, and you can actually see me in full flow when someone's asked me a question and I'm answering it, and it's coming straight through me, just flowing through me. And that's what I like to deliver. And that's why I need to do this. And this is why something changed last week, I think at the beginning of last week. And I was like, I need to not be sewing my energy and trying so hard just to knock on doors which are closed, instead of peering through the doors that are open to people that are like interested, or something's calling them towards this awakening, or doing some things differently in their lives so they can have more relaxation and they can be more in tune with themselves to transcend a lot of this negativity and darkness which is floating around. If that means something to you, then throw up a lurd, because that's essentially what I feel we're living in. We're living in almost like a living hell being on earth because of everything, like the demons are ascending and there's negativity and fear and there's all this lack and stuff around us. But at the same time, that's because we're being programmed to shine the light on it, when really the light and the abundance and the love and the energy that creates life and breeds world, and vibrationally wise, it's all around us. I mean, I'm looking outside because I'm looking at the trees and the colours, and apart from us plonking up houses and sticking swimming pools and concrete jungles up everywhere, we are in a plethora of richness, of abundance and prosperity. And it depends if you look to see it or not. I could have stayed in. I was like sort of thinking, it's a cloudy day outside, and I thought I spent the first couple of hours doing a bit of work with my phone in bed, and I was like, I won't open the shutters. And I thought to myself about the cavemen and about not going outside if it was snow, ice, or danger all around. And then they go, no, stay indoors. And it's actually depression. And I went, fuck, I'm showing signs of depression because I'm laying in bed thinking, I'll stay here, it's nice and warm. And I thought, fuck, change that shit. So I put some tunes on, went and had a really, really big glass of water, chucked on a cup of tea, went and had a nice shower, singing, I can't remember what I was singing. Scouting for Girls, Elvis Isn't Dead. And I was giving it all that, thinking, the neighbours can probably hear me. My mate lives across the road. He's actually in lockdown because his wife has been a positive COVID test. So I can hear them all the time, bless them. Just across the road. And then I was like, right, okay, that's so much better. And then I was like looking at the table here, and I was like, do I do a video? And I was like, I need to do an intro video. But first of all, it's World Mental Health Awareness Day. And so I need to do something like that because of the amount of walk and talks I've done and things like that, and the support I've given to the prevention of male suicide in the past. And that's a serious thing. And I was thinking, well, I had it when I had the bank hacked and then didn't have any money in that bank account. And then I was like, oh, crumbs. And I was in a bit of a fix. And I started having these negative thoughts coming through. And I know the dark is around, it's been around, and I'll share this in this private group. The dark has been around me my whole life, and I'm hypoempathic, but the dark has been the little voice in my head that I listen to more than the light. And now I'm in the path of the light, which is great, and helping people and doing what I need to do. But the dark is around me. The dark is trying to stop me. And I've got energy healers and people. Someone's just messaged me now, actually. Might be watching this and I haven't seen a comment or something. No, I haven't had a comment. And they're actually fighting my corner as well, doing a spiritual reading for me from the angels, angel card readings every day. Or if I'll be checking with them, saying what's been good, you've got this, and supporting them. But then sometimes I'll be open and turn around and say, this is really fucking pissing me off. And then they'll be then flip from that kind of where they are, they'll flip into the light and giving. But it's important that we actually top our own cups up, and that we're aware of the light and dark, and about having the balance, the yin and yang that is, darkness and light is everything, but we need to be aware of one so that we can steer towards the other. Someone gave me a heart, so that's cool. So thank you for the love. Give me more love. So that's why we're going to do these groups, and we're going to be able to do some spiritual chat. There's some stuff spiritually that I really want to share about, talking about when my dog shifted from his energy state, and then a couple of days later he then shifted and came with me. Oh, thanks for the totally agree, Victoria. Love that, babe. Thank you. Yeah, and I haven't really spoke about that. I'm going to talk about how I felt about, I didn't know. I spoke to someone the other day, and I was saying I was in child psychiatry for the first few years of my life. They put it down to me like not being partial, but from being partially deaf. But no one to this day will tell me why. I just remember growing up being called Terry the Terror, or when someone says things like, he's got a demon in him. And that's essentially what it is. You've got like darkness or that temptation to do naughty things, mischievous. People say, I'm just having fun. It could be down to your personality. But, right from wrong, right? So it's whatever you're steered towards more, I suppose. So I hope you're enjoying that. 7 of you on, couple of love hearts there. So you must be loving talking about the energy and the light stuff and the dark. For the first 2 years I was back in England with my mum. She's a bit churchy. She likes throwing the word around there, devil and all that. And I always used to say to her, don't use that word in front of me, because I didn't want to give any power to it then. And the more I've become stronger and more spiritual and learned more things and learned about myself and my angels and my guides and speak to those guys as well, and they used to protect me. Now they don't protect me as much. They're there on call. They're just there. But they've really installed in me that I can psychic medium. Good to have you on the firm, Vic. Yeah, I don't know. I need to talk to more people that are into this kind of stuff, Victoria, to be honest with you, because I know that I'm a powerful spiritual being. I know that I'm hypoempathic, and then some of the psychic stuff that comes sometimes, and seeing shadows, and I know from like a young age of being angry and stuff, it comes from a lot of the darkness and that kind of thing. But also being hypoempathic or something, or being someone that can really, really feel energy, meant that I was drawn to both. So there was times when I would be like angelic and other times when I would be demonic. So being a mum would turn around and say things to me like, oh, that's the devil. And I was like, no, don't talk about that stuff. Don't talk about it. Now I'm strong enough. And I did have had this vision this time when I had a lot of things. I call negative thinking and negative thoughts these things, right? And I think that's where they come from. But I know if I'm going to go and say have 5 pints, have a McDonald's, come home, wake up with a hangover, the chances are, because my vibration's lowered and stuff, and sewering grey matter in the brain and not thriving, you're going to have the blues, you're going to have negative thoughts and stuff. And that's, low vibrational energy kind of stuff we're talking about here, guys. And when we've got that low vibrational energy stuff going on, that's where all the nasty stuff lives. That's where sewering thoughts come in. That's why the days of laying on the sofa going, oh, poor me, the why me, the entitlement trap, rather than the try me life, try me, go out, get it. Whereas most of us know if we just drank a load of water in the morning, get some good food in us, go for a run, dive in a cold swimming pool, bang, you'd be out of that. But we choose not to. Everything we do is our choice. Where we are is because we chose to be there. How we get ourselves out of there, because we've got to fucking make the choices to do that too. And if you want to make the best feeling thoughts and make the best choices in your life, you need to start taking better care of ourselves. Simples. And I'm always not one that does that. I'll have a day when I'm going, right, I'm going to eat chips and burgers today, and I'm going to have a bit of a naughty day. I just call that being a normal day. And that's fine, because with the dopamine hits, it makes us feel good. But then our bodies feel shit, because we're light beings. We need actual food that's real food, that's alive or been alive, that is created with light and minerals. Victoria, when we neglect our health, food, exercise, and being grounded, that's when the darkness tries to come into our light. Yes, that is bloody true, because it's about manipulation, isn't it, to a point? If we're not doing the high vibing, good feeling stuff, then that sewers the time for the negativity to come in. And I believe that the negativity in the darkness is the evil in this world. We make bad choices when we are not thriving, when we're not vibing high. We make bad choices. We speak to ourselves in a terrible way. We speak to other people in a terrible way. We get into trouble. Doesn't happen so much when we're making the right choices. Yeah, but Victoria's saying try and stay heightened awareness and fight off the darkness. Yeah, absolutely. We do have to be aware of that. And awareness is key. And it starts with our own thinking. It really does. We're aware of our own thoughts, and we've been programmed into this negative society, which are actually going down the rabbit hole now, because I've got a like mind on that's communicating with me. So you can see how more powerful in a private group with the right people, how these things are going to flow and be a lot more honest and authentic. Because I know you've got 6 people on. Victoria's having a little chat with me, so I'm not going to go anywhere when that's happening. Otherwise, I'd be looking and thinking, well, I need to get off. Or if no one was on there, and it wasn't interesting to you, I'd be then having those searing thoughts. And then what's that? Of course, that's negativity. It's evil. No one cares what you think. You'll get off. Say these bad things to yourself. So it's powerful that we have these support networks and that we step into our truths and things like that. I know that I feel a lot better now than I did. I mean, I should have done a live last night, and I come up with all these excuses not to do it. And then I was like, okay, it's fine. I edited the post. It said tonight, but tomorrow. No one will notice anyway, or a couple of people will. Does it matter? No. And then I was like, right, I'm going to get up straight first thing in the morning, and I'm going to come out and do this, be nice and early. But I didn't. I ended up being a little bit later, and then I started thinking about all that stuff about lying in bed and just working from there. And I had to make the choice. Became that observer, got the awareness around what was actually happening. And that you can argue that that's about stopping you in your tracks. And I also had a powerful message on here. I did a live beforehand as well about mental health awareness. I'm pretty much in flow now. I'm not thinking about what I'm saying. It's coming through me. I can feel my guides are around me. They're happy. And I'm happy too. The sun is now shining outside. Maybe I wouldn't have noticed that. Light attracts light, guys. And a lot of what I do is energy healing as well as just the clinical hypnotherapy stuff. A lot of it's law of attraction based language, thought provoking. But there is energy in there as well. And it's hard sometimes to be around people that are like, poor me, victim mentality, that kind of thing. Because I was stuck there too for so long. I remember being an 18-year-old thinking, I don't want to be a messer. I don't want to be that person. And of course, what happens if you start focusing on all the things you don't want? We don't know negatives in our mind. The law of attraction, the energy that flows through us and is listening and creating everything for us through our thinking, doesn't know negatives. So I say to you, don't imagine me wearing a stripy yellow and pink top. Boom. Stripy yellow and pink top pops into your head. Don't think about a pink unicorn. Don't come into it. So we have to be changing and being aware of those thoughts and focusing on what we do want, not what we don't want. And that's super powerful. We turn that kind of focus and our thought energy around onto doing and wanting and attracting those things that we actually want. The amazing thing is we start becoming like a magnet to all the things, the wonderful things we want in our lives, and they start showing up because it's about where we shine the light, where the awareness was. And all we did was just change the language we were using with ourselves, change the language around how you're thinking in your own head about situations that are happening in your life. Super powerful and strong stuff. And I can talk about this for bloody hours and hours and hours, and I do. I talk about this in coaching sessions. I talk about this with coaching communities, with entrepreneur communities. I talk about it all the time. The one place that I don't talk about it is out on the street or when I'm around like my friends and family, because it then gives me this horrible feeling inside of being eyes glazed over and not understanding you, or them thinking that you're mad or just talking bullshit. When it's just a different frequency, essentially. People are tuned into one radio station. I'm tuned into another. There's 5 people on this call that are tuned into the same radio station as me. Otherwise, I wouldn't still be watching. There might be one of those people just go, I really haven't got a clue what this fucking idiot's saying, or maybe doesn't even like it one bit. But you have the choice to swipe on by. You have the choice to unfriend. I sometimes get posts pop up on my feed, and I just think, hell no. And I'm like, goodbye. You are the latest chump to leave the building. It's good fun for flow today. I love talking about the energy stuff. It's something I really miss and lack. When I came to Spain, I was like looking for people within the spiritual community, which are there, but it's about putting out your vibe and attracting your tribe. So the more we can talk about energy, flow, frequency, about feeling thoughts, about the communication, the language we have, and actually understanding what's happening in our bodies and minds to actually change our physiology, to change our state, to use your body to change your thinking, or use your thinking to create those changes in your body. And then, of course, if a body that's thriving isn't a body that's at ease, or, well, a body that's thriving is at ease, and a body that isn't is in dis-ease. And where does disease thrive? In the environment where it can thrive. That's where diseases come from. So if you're not high vibing, if you're sewering yourself with negative content, with negative people, with negative thoughts, with food that isn't actually food, processed, not healthy, alcohol, drugs, all the low vibrational stuff, energy-wise, what's going to happen? We're not going to live as long. We're not going to be as happy. We're not going to attract great things into our lives. And that's it, really. And that's human optimization. And none of that is a secret. And I was so annoyed. I was 37 years old and I learned about law of attraction and that I was an empath, and I was pissed. I was pissed for about 2 weeks. I mean, off. I was pissed off. And the reason I was pissed off was because I was like, oh, I went to victim. I was like, they've deliberately kept this from me when I know that I was the wrong. I felt my whole life that I was in the wrong skin. I thought that there was something seriously fucking wrong with me. I felt that I could never be who I wanted to be. I know that I had the best intentions. I know that I always wanted to help other people and do nice things. I mean, I've done some crazy things when I was a kid growing up, naughty things, funny things, wonderful things to help other people. I've really had that divine balance between light and darkness, because I was so intuitively like attached and in with it all. But I was so unhappy, you know, from a kid that was like tempting to like hang himself from his own bloody bunk bed to saying to people, well, what's the point? You know, I'll just kill myself then. And it's like, whoa, that's terrible. Really terrible. And so that's why I really get the connection now with kind of not feeling like you're in the right skin. When kids are kind of like, I was a scoutmaster for over a year, and I really enjoyed doing that. It was a really good way of kind of giving some stuff back. Very hard as well, very hard to do that, because unfortunately some kids fucking little shits, and you've got to be like specially trained with certain kids. But I did look at these kids, and sometimes these ones which were like really like specially naughty, and I'd think to myself, and I could kind of see through all that material stuff and be like, they're just shining so bright, where they can be on that scale of being awesome, or on that scale of just being horrendous. But there'd be labels for it, and they've got this wrong with them, or that wrong with them, or an excuse for this or an excuse for that. And I just went, that's wrong. It's just about people. And then if we lived in tribes and stuff like that, I don't think we'd have all those issues and problems. I think people would get exactly what they needed, what they, the community would come together in a way that would see that the energy and the light that one kid gives off, and then one's shining like lesser bright. It doesn't mean that one's something wrong with one of them, and got social anxiety, and a kid could just be really clever and really seeing into things and loves to sit reading books and looking at nature with his glasses on, versus the kid that wants to smash the fuck out of everything, scream, shout, fight, argue. Those two kids, in my opinion, have got a lot more in common than people meet the eye. But then I want to assign, this kid's got this going on and we need to bring them out of their shell, and that kid just needs to calm down and bring up a balance. Well, the balance is within everyone. And I think we can highlight that, really. Don't really know how I managed to get down that rabbit hole, but that's what I think and believe. Not, I wasn't a kid that had to have drugs and stuff, I don't think, until I could choose to. And then I took them willingly. Silly. But true story. But now I think that there'll be things for calming kids down. I know through doing solution focused hypnotherapy that I've worked with people that have been seeing counsellors for 10 years, on antidepressants for 15, and within 4 to 6 weeks they're off their meds, off their antidepressants. And not that I ever condone anyone doing that, because as soon as you've got medical stuff going on, you speak to the doctor about that stuff. And don't just start coming off. As I always say, laughter is the best medicine. But if you've got medicine, do take the medicine until it's safe, or you can try not to. But having that understanding about what's actually happening with those drugs, antidepressants a lot of the time are either placebos. They work better than the actual no drugs, than the actual drugs themselves. And what it's doing is, if you release serotonin into your head, a neurotransmitter which kind of acts like a catalyst for the healthy mental behavior that we're looking for. Constant flow of serotonin means we're happy, brave, coping little souls all the time. We create that flow of serotonin naturally by being happy, by doing positive things, by thinking positively, interacting positively, and acting, interacting, and thinking positively, the 3 Ps. And what antidepressants do is just allow that serotonin to hang around for longer before it goes away. So rather than just having another happy thought, just having another pill. But a lot of those pills' side effects are crazy. The side effects are like suicidal tendencies, things like that. Mad, absolutely mad. So with it being Mental Health Awareness Day, it's an important fact to make, isn't it? That people are taking pills to cover over things that they've got going on with their mental health, when I think that mental health is all about thinking. Every ailment, every thought that you have is either serving or unserving. So people, similar to when people have drug addictions and stuff, all that thinking is an addiction that we've been programmed to do. And we've got to learn how to calm it down, how to switch it down. And how do we do that? We do that through fucking relaxation. Simple. We do that by taking a little bit of time out of our lives every single day to take a fucking break from our lives, whether it be 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. You should be taking more than 5 minutes anyway. You should be sort of like basically not doing anything for like the first hour, the last hour of your day. They're yours. That's not when phone calls go off and kids are crawling up your legs. Animals, well, maybe animals get taken out and poos the first and last hour. But again, if you've got a dog and you're taking that dog out for that first or last hour, what a gift that is. You're getting out in nature, aren't you? We need to get to the routine, the cause of the issue, not happy plasters through pills. Boom. Yes. Well said, that man. I don't know we might not be friends on Facebook, and that's why it's saying Facebook user instead of a name. But thank you very much for your comment. Yes. We get out the routines, create new routines of positivity and acting. I mean, think about that dog walk, for instance. You're getting out in nature, you're out with your friend, by being present, you look at any animals in the present. The present is called the present because it's a gift. So open your gift up every single day. Past, present, future. Present. Every single day. Every day we wake up is a day to be grateful for, another day alive to thrive. My mentors and coaches, because I pay for private coaching and mentoring, and I will continue to do so, because I think if you want something, you need to get it from the people that got it. I think that's why with like entrepreneurship, a lot of us will go through our lives getting advice from people that don't have what we want and listening to the wrong people. For instance, someone could go to buy something on the internet and someone will say, oh no, it sounds dodgy. Oh, don't do that. So we're taking advice from the wrong people a lot of the time. Whereas if you seek out change or seek what you want, and that's why anyone can be your mentor or guru. You can just go on YouTube, you can see celebrities, follow people in newspapers, wherever it may be, that have the attributes, the personality traits, the morals that you find fitting and are actually aligned with you. And they can be your coaches and mentors, anyone. It doesn't have to be Uncle Dave that basically, I could start trying to do a mechanics course and go, oh, well, you said you wanted to be a chef. Oh, I would do that mechanics crap. There's no money in mechanics, get dirty. You want to get into computers or something. What's Uncle Dave do? Uncle Dave could be a milkman. Or someone that's got no money telling you what you should be doing with your finances, or speaking to someone that's overweight about what they do at the gym. You see what I mean? So you should always be sourcing information for the people that have what you want. And I think that this is where the internet, the digital age that we're in, and the knowledge industry is absolutely thriving, is because more and more people are aware of the fact of there's all these resources, a plethora of resources available to each and every one of us. Also, more and more people are sharing. More and more people now are actually reaching out to people. I say it like me, but I am in that club of being one of those people that are doing motivational education, or actually posting, talking about subjects which maybe sometimes people wouldn't want to talk about. and offering out help to other people. But then what happens is that negative bias and the evils in this world then try and pull you back in by having people either troll you or I across all my different platforms, I've got about 60. I've got a network of about 16,000 people. I'd probably be lucky to get a few hundred people ever watch any one video or anything at any given time, unless it's something really risque. Like, it's really funny because if it's something really, really bad, it will go viral pretty much. If like when I had my accident on my face, that doesn't look bad, does it? Like, a little bit peachy. I had like 300 comments on that post, whereas the post before it, no comments, maybe 6 likes. So that's the world we've been trained into. That's why news doesn't put good news, because more people like to talk. On average, we talk about something that's good 5 times, but we talk about something that's bad 20 times. And again, we've been programmed that way because that's what keeps us alive. We notice the stuff that's not favorable to us. It keeps us alive. It's self-preservation. But what really have we got to worry about in these modern times? Really, what do we have to worry about? Most of the time, we're worried about money, that kind of stuff. But we're not worrying about our personal relationships where everything starts. We're not worrying about our self-care. We're not worrying about what we're eating. We're not looking at, I love this analogy, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to get off because I really need to pee. I look at my body, and I say this to clients all the time, and I've said it in a few videos recently. We are made up of like 72% water. Our brains, maybe 84% water. So if you look at your body as being like, when you see it on these like posters or whatever, and it'll show the water up to here, saying 72% of this is water in your body. If your body's a swimming pool, and what you consume, and we're talking about consumption, we're talking about what we're consuming through our mouth, through our ears, through our eyes, through our senses. So it's not just what we're eating and drinking, it's what we're thinking, what we're listening to, the people we hang around. Are we exercising? What are we doing? What are we putting into that swimming pool? Now you've got a really, really good picture about what all your best things are. So I'll be honest, I would dip my toe in my swimming pool because I know that I drink the best water on the planet. I eat pretty clean, I exercise, I meditate, and I do a lot of hypnosis. I'm doing a lot of good things with other people. I look after I even know I'm having these evil thoughts and these things trying to stop me in my tracks, trying to stop me from being the greatest version of myself, stop me from stepping into my power, into the light, and actually helping more and more people through this wonderful thing called the internet. And helping more people. Well, then what do I need? I need a little bit of money, a little bit of finances to keep all that flowing. So the flow of money and energy needs to coincide. It needs to be that thing. I then get blockages, and I get sewering thoughts around that, and then friends and family will basically something negative will attach to them to say a suggestion, which is then going to get to me. I'm aware of this stuff. And I have to let it go. I imagine myself being a little ducky going along, and the water splashes and it goes straight off. Sometimes it does, and it soaks in a little bit. And then I have to do the inner work, my self-work, to get myself through that. This stuff is all around us, guys, and it's happening. It's happening around us all the time. And more people are being a bit more in tune with their feelings and thoughts. A bit more people are stepping out of that victim entitlement trap. And it's a good time. It's a good time for this stuff to be happening because we need it now more than ever. So that swimming pool, what does your swimming pool look like? And would you go swimming in it? So if you drink Red Bull, if you drink wine, if you drink coffee, and you're a smoker, do you not eat the healthiest foods? Or maybe you just, you thought everything was going good until I just said that about your swimming pool. But now you realise, shit, I could drink less fizzy drinks and I could drink more water. And then it might mean that you would dip your toe in. But it's a serious one for contemplation, isn't it, really? What's going into your body? And then if that swimming pool is a representation of our body, is our body going to thrive in that environment? How do we keep that body, alive and thriving? By doing a few things differently, I think. That's all. So thank you very much for you guys being on. It's nearly 55 minutes. I've really enjoyed this one. I spoke a little bit more freely about energy states and about my own spirituality as well. So that's cool. It's a good indication that I need to speak out more about this stuff. And that's basically what the H4, the High Hopes Hypnotherapy Hub, is going to be all about, through the looking glass of our extraordinary lives, by me, Terry James, aka Brett. As all my friends call me Brettsy. Yeah, and I'm going to do like a Sunday and maybe a Wednesday, doing like a live, which is then the recording can be dropped into the group, but then people can jump on live. We'll do a live hypnosis as well as doing inconsequential language. So we jump straight on the call and it would be like, oh, it's really, really nice weather here today. And I saw this and this was good. And what's been good? I want you to write down something that's been good in your day. It's very easy for me to do it on a one-to-one session. But in a group, a few people being on the call, it's going to be a bit harder. So I'd have to get you to write things down. I'd have to sort of say, right, I want you to tell me what's been good the last 3 days. And being, if you're in that group and you're on that that positivity program, making those changes, I would have already given you a nightly audio for free to listen to at night time to start getting that process working. Also, when we do the live sessions, it's so much more impactful. Because you're already used to the language and my voice. And so you're automatically going to go into a nice restorative hypno-like sleep. You'll notice your sleep patterns getting better and better, more REM sleep. And then we do, a little bit of scaling, so if you was X happy today, how happy do you want to be tomorrow? What would it look like? And then use some NLP techniques and thought-provoking coaching questions to get you getting a real specific feelings, thoughts, vision, auditory, around what those doing pictures are in your head. And then we go into that, because then we're in our intellectual mind, and that's the difference. Then we're in our intellectual mind, we're forward thinking, we're solution focused, we're positively stating intentions of what we're going to do, not what we want, what we're going to do. And then we go into a trance where we just let it go. Nice little breath work. And we relax. And then we go about our business, and then it's doing its stuff. And then through repetition, through doing it, habit, we're then going to create new neurons to fire together, creating new ways of thinking, new neuronal clusterings of thought processes and certain words and language. And then after 21 to 28 days of continually to do this stuff, it's going to start showing up on its own, to the point now where little Mr. Needed Anger Management, Terry over here, will now have things which would have maybe annoyed me a few years ago, and nice positive thoughts will pop into my head, and I'll be on my bike and I'll be like, oh, it's so lovely. It's all a bit unicorny and fluffy, but that's so much better than the evil that I was fighting off every single day, my whole life. Arguing with myself, fighting in that vortex of like a stream of thoughts, and I was fighting against them all the time, and had my hands up, and I was fighting myself and getting angry and hurting myself and wanting not to live and thinking it was everyone else's fault and why me. And within 18 months, probably took about a year. I've been doing it 2.5 years, 3 years now as a therapist and helping other people, but I continue to do this stuff myself every day. And when I'm struggling with stuff, I tell other people that I'm struggling, so that then it's not that I'm weak, it's to show that you can turn your pain into power, because we're all similar in that way. And I hope you find that powerful as well. So keep close to the light. Remember, you are fucking awesome. You've got everything you need inside you to be happy and to be safe. If you watch this and you haven't heard about any special groups or anything, hook me up a private message or something. We can get you in the group. I can get you in the group. We can just have a chat about what it's about and why we're doing it. And we'll say why we. We'll say me. I'm doing it, but it's for we, and more people can be like-minded in there, and we can have these lives. It could just be a thing that we do then 2 lives a week, and people watch them on replays or join in, and that's great. But you've got access to the training and the lives and actually the rapid transformational relaxation techniques, the therapy itself. Or you do the bit more of the spiritual stuff, and you then come a bit closer into the inner circle, and we have those private calls, that can't get shut down and taken off of the internet, about what's going on, what we feel, the research we've done, or things that we've seen, things that we've heard, things that have been channeled to us even. So, Victoria, thank you for your comments today. And as a fellow light worker, it'd be lovely to have future conversations with yourself, especially about your psychic medium stuff, because I know that I need to look into that kind of stuff a bit more, understand my own power a little bit more. It's something that used to always frighten me a little bit, but now I'm thinking that I need to speak into that a bit more. So it would be great if we could connect at some point, drop each other a message. And thanks for staying on. So I appreciate you guys. And if you've been watching this, then remember this is an intro to the H4, the High Hopes Hypnotherapy Hub private group, essentially, which is going to be a paid group, which will be paid, and for VIPs, which are currently working or in the coaching energy worker field with me, so that we can provide value to people as a support system, as well as me delivering a couple of trainings every week, which will then be chopped up so that you get the bit of hypno for reprogramming audio, wherever you want to use it, and also you've got access to have those Q&As with me in those, and get that energy transfer, which will be available to you and privately. So cool. So that being said, have a great Saturday. Love to you all. Peace, love and light. Sun is shining. I'm going to get out for a little walk and get my vibration high. So take care. Oh, and have that pee that I said I'd have about 15 minutes ago. Holding it in. Take care, guys. Love you loads. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget, everything starts with a thought, and our thoughts are super, super, super powerful. And if you don't change, if you want different outcomes, you're not willing to start changing some stuff, then the outcome's not going to change, essentially. Everything can happen. Everything can happen as long as you think it. See you later. Thanks again, Victoria. Thanks for everyone else for dropping on and your comments. If you like it, share it. Drop a comment in, and I'll speak to you all soon. Peace.